Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. How's it going? Oh, there's Monkey. That figures he'd wake up right as I go live. How's everybody doing? I see Rotten Corpse, Della Hazed, Ryan, Eagle, Cynic, Deckfish, Nobody Not Me, Cannibal, Retro. How's it going? Jim, how's it going? Della, thank you for dropping the link. Hey, Sir Adamantine. Hi, Monkey. Hi, Viking. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Cynic. Hey, Greg. Bad? Why you? Don't be doing bad. Hey, Simon. I don't think Monkey has a cage. Yeah, sorry, I had some technical difficulties to deal with. I'm doing okay. 10 minutes. Psh, plenty of time to set up a stream and go live. Diagnosed with diabetes. Oh, dude, that sucks. Yeah, I probably have diabetes too, but I'm not going to ask. They're just like, get your cholesterol down. You're going to have heart disease. Brr, brr, brr. Well, don't worry, man. If it's type 2, it should be treatable. You know, diet and all that. You're just not going to be able to eat good things anymore. It'll all be gross, boring shit like broccoli. Hey, John, how you doing, man? Hey, Shio. Hey, Stargazer. Why am I on Top Chat? Diabetes only affects you on non-holidays. I don't think you do diabetes right, Monkey. She's borderline. Just watch her diet. I'm trying to watch my diet, but it's really hard since everything delicious is bad for you. Oh, is today Nuts' birthday? Happy birthday, Nuts. All right, got a bunch of articles stacked up here. Some of them are pretty old. Hey, Tyler. I do it the only way that works. Yeah, well, you can't just live off broccoli forever. I mean, I guess somebody could, but I don't know why. That's not living. The tardy neighbor kid is screaming again. Yeah, it happens a lot. That's why I try not to live near those people. All right, so got a few articles here. We're going to get to as many of them as we can. And then maybe Monkey will do a show. All right, so as I think everybody here knows what's going on, why I haven't been streaming as much. Been settling up my brother's estate, and that has taken a lot of time, and it's been rather difficult. But tomorrow I get to go pick up his ashes, or Monday rather. So there's that. Why did the evil midwife cross the road to get to the Thelma? Jesus, Shio. Hey, Keever, how's it going? Well, let's hope it cheers you up, Retro, because it looks like down in Australia, Godzilla vs. Kong sequel is filming. This is from last month, the 22nd. And I am super excited about this. I liked the first one, even though it had a bunch of pesky humans in it. It was still a very fun movie, and it didn't get boring. So it is filming. It probably be done soon. It'll be the third time a movie part of the legendary MonsterVerse is filmed in Australia. As two preceding flicks, including featuring Kong film there, which was Godzilla vs. Kong and Kong Skull Island. Filming is expected to bring in $88 million into the local economy, with more than 500 local cast and crew employed for the movie, which is said to be using more than 750 extras. It's over in Queensland. If you're over in that region, maybe you could get an extra job on and get eaten by a monkey or something. Not many details are known about Godzilla vs. Kong sequel, but a title previously mentioned includes Song of Kong. Son of Kong was a pretty fun movie. Not as good as the original, definitely a lower budget from the old timies. The director's said to be in talks to return. Godzilla vs. Kong made $468 million at the box office, and it had a same day and date release on HBO Max and in theaters. I watched it on HBO Max, and I wish I had seen it on the big screen, but that wasn't going to happen where I live. I don't care who's in it. The four MonsterVerse movies have brought in $2 billion, so they have a good reason to do this. And hopefully they learned their lesson and made it more about monsters in this one. And maybe they're using Australia as the Hollow Earth. So, is Deaf Girl Mom of Kong? I don't know. Maybe. So, yeah, that looks pretty awesome. I'm excited because I did like the first one. All right. And the other really old article, everything else is fairly new, is that there's a live-action Voltron movie in the works from Red Notice director. This was from the 23rd of last month. Rowan Marshall Thurber. It's reported by the Hollywood Reporter that a bidding war is currently taking place within Hollywood for the live-action Voltron movie, which will see Rawson Marshall Thurber co-write and direct the project, with the flick produced by Todd Lieberman and David Hoberman, as well as some other guy I've never fucking heard of. Said to be in the mix is Warner Brothers, Universal, and Amazon, and 3 or 4 more. But it said Netflix, which released Red Notice and the recent Voltron animated series, is not in the running. So we won't get the gender and fluidity swap crew, which would be good. So with the success of Red Notice, that guy's wanted, and he wants to do this. So he's also developing back-to-back sequels and was recently announced to be developing a live-action D&D series. He's a big Voltron fan, so that's a big positive. That guy's got a gut and a gunt. Oh my god, is Ethan Ralph in Voltron? All right, so that looks pretty cool. I'm excited about that too. I was never a huge Voltron fan, but it could be good. But they don't have a fat kid in it. Oh, they might. There was a fat guy in the original. Why must they ruin our childhoods? Because they can. Don't trust Hollywood with live action? Yeah, I don't either. We can hope, though. I did see, I retweeted it earlier, the trailer for the Ultraman movie. Shin Ultraman, and it looks fucking awesome. They had a beta capsule and everything. But the Japanese are doing it, so it'll probably be at least consistently good. They've been doing, I follow the Ultraman channel on YouTube, and it's fucking great. Should I shut up? No, why would you? If you guys want to check it out, if any of you are Ultraman fans, which you all should be. But we already have Darkness Rising. Yeah, was that the Gamer sequel? Voltron always got his ass beat. Then use the sword. Just use it first. No, it's too easy. Shin Ultraman Godzilla crossover possible? Oh, dare to dream, but I doubt it. Hey, Jack, how's it going, man? Not very Jack. Yeah, well, you know. Had a 4-hour walk yesterday. Wow. Would your car break down? All right. Oh, yeah. I have to do shameless whoring, which I forgot to do. Like, share, subscribe, and if you're feeling super generous, you can donate to me via the Streamlabs link, which Della Hayes has been nice enough to be dropping, and it is pinned at the top of the chat and at the top of the description. Yeah. Oh, bad. I'm bad at this job. All right. So let's see here. We got quite a bit going on. Where to start? All right, let's make fun of Disney because they're fucking stupid. Disney Channel star reveals Disney sexualizes its young actresses. It's from Bleeding Fool. I mean, is anyone shocked by that? Former Disney Channel star Cole Sprouse, that's a guy, by the way, recently revealed that when he broke into the industry, he witnessed his female co-stars being sexually exploited at an early age, which he said is something that he and his twin brother didn't endure. Well, maybe because you were ugly, I don't know. Sprouse has been in the national spotlight since he was a child, starring in films and popular network sitcoms. He and his brother Dylan also starred in the Disney series The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. During an interview with the New York Times, Sprouse, who quit acting to attend New York University, where he obtained a degree in archaeology, said people often marvel at how he and his brother made it through the industry unscathed. Well, they were kids in Hollywood. They probably got diddled a lot. My brother and I used to get quite a bit of, "Oh, you made it out. You're unscathed." No, Sprouse told the publication when asked why it was some young star's spiral. The young women on the channel who were on Disney Channel were so heavily sexualized from such an early age that my brother and I, an earlier age than my brother and I, that there's absolutely no way we could compare our experiences, he continued. And every single person going through that trauma has a unique experience. The 29-year-old also told the New York Times that fame is a trauma for many child stars. I actually would agree with that. A lot of these kids turn up really fucked up. So I'm violently defensive against people who mock some of the young women who were on the channel when I was younger because I don't feel it adequately comprehends the humanity of that experience and what it takes to recover. Okay, that's some nonsense shit there. To be quite honest, as I have now gone through a second big round of this fame game as an adult, I've noticed the same psychological effect that fame yields upon a group of young adults I did as a child. I just think some people have an easier time hiding it when they're older. He didn't really go into too much detail, and sadly, that's about all he really said in the other article, too, where he was actually interviewed. I would agree that Disney tends to sexually exploit their kids because, well, we've seen a few sex pests out at Disney, and they do seem to be against this trans bill that, what do they call it? The Don't Say Gay bill, which is not what it is, but they came out against that. So is anyone really surprised? Point out the unintentional Marvel pun since Disney now owns Marvel. Yeah, Marvel's a shithole. Yeah, pretty much, Eagle. The fact that Zoomers still watch these shitty shows, even if fucked up atrocities like this are revealed. Yeah, I don't know why anybody watches the Disney Channel. Everyone remembers Tiger Beat, right? Oh yeah, that's true. A lot of those programs are pretty fucked. It's amazing how some of these kids want to go into this industry. Oh, thank you, Retro V Gamer, for the donation. Who says, "Thanks, Jack, and give Jack money." That's very generous, dude. Thanks, man. Tiger Beat? Oh, you don't remember Tiger Beat? This guy was a magazine that was just all about teen celebrities. It's for teenagers and perverts. It was real big in like what, the 80s and 90s. Wow. Okay, I feel really old right now. Later I'll talk about Starlog and reminisce about the good old days. Kyle's younger than us. Kyle needs to get older. He needs to build a time machine and go back and experience the awesomeness of the 80s. Age check Tiger Beat, right? Well, Disney has been catching some hot water because of their stance against the so-called Don't Say Gay bill there in Florida. And hopefully Florida fucks them over on it because I'm sick of this shit. It's getting ridiculous, and Disney comes off more and more like a bunch of perverts every day. But this article from News Channel 8 says, posts maligning Disney lack evidence, AP fact check finds. Oh, the Associated Press. Oh, yes. reliable source upon reliable source. No political bias whatsoever at the AP, as long as you agree with everything Karl Marx said. Online posts are using flawed logic and false information to malign the Walt Disney Company as sympathetic to no-touchers or predatory toward young children after the company publicly opposed a Florida bill banning instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity in kindergarten through third grade. Now, why are they opposed to a bill that would ban sexual talk to children? Because that makes it sound like maybe this word is applicable. It really, really does. Sorry, Disney, but you sound like a bunch of pedo supporters. Posts shared thousands of times on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram have attempted to link Disney to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. They have highlighted Disney employees' arrests as alleged evidence of a company-wide problem. Somebody did an article a little while back that there have been 34 people arrested for weird sex pest stuff. I'd say that's probably indicative of some kind of problem. Sure, they have a lot of employees, but maybe the fact that you have access to a lot of kids would draw weirdos to that. They pointed to Disney prioritizing diverse content as evidence of the company grooming kids. But these attacks on Disney have escalated across social media since the bill passed in late March, are misleading and not supported by facts. Here's a closer look. Claim Disney has close ties to the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein and his ex-girlfriend Ghislaine Maxwell, who was convicted of luring young girls to be sexually abused by him. The facts! These claims are not supported by evidence. Social media posts in recent weeks have pointed to 3 different examples of purported connections between Disney and Epstein, none of which stand up to further investigation. Wait, didn't Tom Hanks do a movie where he played Walt Disney? And wasn't Tom Hanks suspected of being on that island? Makes you wonder. The first claim involves snorkeling trips that a Disney-affiliated tour provider used to run near Little St. James Island, a small private island in the United States Virgin Islands that Epstein owned. Revealed, Disney was sending kids to Epstein's island for snorkeling trips, read one widely shared headline. Post pointed to a website titled Magical Kingdoms, which included a description of a 3.5-hour Disney Cruise Line affiliated tour that included a snorkel stop at Little St. James Island, among other stops around the islands. It was a 3-hour tour. Dude, never go on a 3-hour tour. I'm just saying. That'll end badly, and some retard will constantly screw your chances of getting off the island. Oh my God, can you imagine the minnow wrecked on Epstein Island? No wonder they never got rescued. However, Disney confirmed in an emailed statement that the tour, which is no longer running, did not involve a stop at the island and had no relation to it. The island, as well as other... Okay, I don't care anymore. The second claim, Disney had plans to build a theme park on Little St. James Island. That's obviously a joke. Fuck off. Also has no basis in reality. Disney said it has no plans involving the island, and an internet search reveals no legitimate news reports. God, they're just taking internet memes now. A spokesman for Epstein's estate also confirmed in an email that the claim was false. Like I would believe anything that dude's spokespeople said. They are listed for sale, though, so if you want to own a pedo island, maybe you could do that. For the third claim, social media users are sharing photos of Maxwell at a Disney-themed event in 1985 to suggest that Disney tacitly endorses someone who committed sex crimes against children. But the photos don't prove that. No shit. These are all lame. According to a photo caption provided by the UK-based Mirror tabloid newspaper, they were captured at a Mirror fundraiser at a private residence in the UK, which involved the presentation of a check to the Save the Children Fund. Save them from Epstein. The only link to Disney was that the event used the Disney theme, hardly proof of Disney endorsement. That's actually accurate, but again, these sound like really bad jokes. The photo was also captured before Maxwell met Epstein, according to her own recollection in a 2016 deposition, which she said she met Epstein in 1991. Okay, I don't trust anything she says either. Claim authorities recently arrested 108 Disney employees for no pictures as part of a human trafficking sting operation. The facts. 4 Disney employees, along with 104 other people, were arrested as part of a March 2022 law enforcement effort targeting human traffickers, child predators, and people soliciting prostitution, according to Florida's Polk County Sheriff's Office, which made the arrests. Disney employs 190,000 people, according to its 2021 annual report. Yeah, only one of those was alleged to have naughty pictures of underage kids. But there have been other people that were arrested over the years from Disney, and I think it's 34 or 35. Claimed the CEO of Walt Disney Company had been arrested for human trafficking in California. The fact there is no record of any arrest of Disney CEO Bob Chapek, and the claim first appeared in the conservative blog that labels some of its content as satire. What did find this on the Babylon Bee? The Twitter user elevated the blog's false claim in March, writing that a random Twitter user, elevated this. Sure, dude. It sounds like some crackpot did that. No human trafficking arrests related to JPEG. Disney's decision to incorporate LGBTQ themes and characters into its content shows the company is grooming children to be gay. No, it's called brainwashing. Facts. The term grooming is used on social media to undermine Disney's diversity initiatives. That sounds like an opinion, not a fact. A tactic that has been used at school board meetings across the country by parents who oppose discussions of sexual orientation in schools with their children. But that's a departure from the commonly understood meaning of grooming. Not really. According to the experts, who are these experts you're citing? Your random appeal to nameless experts who say the term refers to specific tactics that sexual abusers use to initiate contact with their victims. Disney's obsession with grooming children is nothing new, but their openness about it is, read the headline of an article that discussed Disney's efforts to incorporate LGBTQ characters into its programs. Groomergate, 15 times Disney promoted LGBTQI or AI25 plus in children's programming, read the head of a conservative blog post that was later deleted. People can think that people will see trends in things, and maybe these people are seeing something that this author isn't. That is not a fact because we don't know. I've watched some of those videos that were leaked from Disney, and it does sound like they're purposely incorporating a lot of LGBTQ messaging, whether it's to convert kids or convince them they're gay. I don't know, but I don't think this author knows either. Say that's a fact is pretty far-reaching. Yeah, stop being sick, monkey. Nobody approved that. Hi, Angela. Hey, Spoonie. These claims operate on a false premise that sexual orientation and gender identity are imposed upon kids. Catherine Oakley, state legislation director and senior counsel at the LGBTQ advocacy group Human Rights Campaign, previously told the AP, not Adonis Paul, the Associated Press. It comes from a really fundamentally wrong position about where a person's identity comes from. Does it? Does it really? Because if you're telling kids the glories of this, they will try and mirror it for approval. I don't think you've ever worked with children, Catherine. Incorporating LGBTQ characters into Disney programming also isn't done to coerce a child into a legal activity. Again, how do you know that? How do you know that's not the goal here? Because they seem to be really pushing a lot of this stuff to try and make it normalized. That would be a necessary feature to find someone's behavior as grooming. Now, we've seen people over and over again on Monkey in the Morning, we've talked about this, where they say things like, don't tell your parents about this. A lot of teachers are doing that. So here, William O'Donoghue, a psychologist who studies child sexual abuse at the University of Reno, saying that this is that the definition of grooming here. Grooming refers to deceptive process by which a would-be sexual abuser chooses a vulnerable victim, like a child, gains access to them, like through TV or a theme park, and isolates them, gains their trust, and often their family's trust and community's trust. You mean like taking a brand that has a reputation for being kid-friendly and adjusting it to make it to encourage certain behaviors. Interesting. And then desensitize them to sexual content and physical contact before the abuse happens. Weird. Desensitize them to sexual content by like maybe showing it to them more. Maybe getting out there and shaking their panda. Like that new Pixar movie. Huh, interesting. The way grooming has been used in the media of late does not reflect sexual grooming as it's been described in the research literature. I would disagree with that. I've actually worked with kids and had some training on this. So, yeah, they probably just changed the definition like we see so often. Jellick told the AP in an email, delusion of the term can be very dangerous because it is only now that we are starting to understand how predators use sexual grooming strategies to abuse children. No, we've known it for decades. This is not new. So don't try that shit. We're only now understanding it. No, you're now redefining it. So that entire last section was not fact. It was a lot of opinion and perspective from a certain point of view, some would say. And there is definitely a lot of grooming going on. Hey, Merle, how you doing? Hey, Louie. Rob throws the Tiger Beat magazine at the floor and says he thought it was a magazine about abusing tigers. I don't know what Rob and Elliot are, so no. Hey, Brad. Oh, you're not that late. All right. Yeah, so Disney's full shit. They've been pushing this agenda nonsense all over the place. Well, that article was from the 13th. But if we jump over to Inside the Magic from April 9th, we get a totally different article with a different perspective. And that is that Disney helps employees and children transition with gender-affirming surgeries. This is by Luke Damon. At an internal meeting, Disney recently stated how it helps families obtain gender-affirming procedures. No grooming there. No offering them a certain idea that they should be comfortable with a certain sexuality or anything like that. No, not grooming at all, guys. Yeah, that's a creepy fucking balloon, isn't it? As reported by Como News, a Disney official said during a virtual conference on the company's Reimagine Tomorrow initiative. You should look those videos up if you haven't already. I found them to be very disgusting and very, very much propagandistic. These people have an agenda. That the company will be working to assist employees and their children in obtaining gender-affirming procedures for employees and their children. Put simply, this means Disney is planning to offer some type of assistance to employees wanting surgeries that may help them feel more comfortable with their own gender identity or their children. Specific procedures in this field typically include puberty blockers and genital reassignment surgery, according to the Manhattan Institute senior fellow and a contributing editor at City Journal, Christopher Rufo, who reported on the comments Thursday. You can see the video from Christopher Rufo. That's obviously right here. There are a lot of these videos out there, and I highly recommend watching them. I would never take my kid to Disney after watching this stuff. It's fucking disgusting. This announcement comes after an intense month-long storm of backlash and controversy surrounding the Walt Disney Company's stance, or initially a lack thereof, on Florida's new highly contested bill. Commonly known as the Don't Say Gay bill, this piece of legislation is as simple as the title. As stated on NPR, oh, there's a reliable source. The legislation prohibits any instruction about sexuality or gender between kindergarten and third grade, or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. Why do you need to talk about your sexuality to a 9-year-old? Third grade is 6 years plus the grade level, so 9 to 10. Why do you need to talk about sexuality or gender with a 10-year-old. They're not going through the changes. The comments on gender affirming as surgeries also come amid a heated debate on a national level surrounding LGBTQ plus issues, as some states like Florida seek to prohibit the discussion of sex and gender identity among children and limit their access to gender affirming procedures. Okay, I feel bad for this guy because he's like, I'm going to be in a Disney promo photo. And he's in this article. On Thursday, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki called these controversial practices life-saving. So, get your kids' junk cut up. It's going to be life-saving. We should look at the stats on that sometime. So, yeah, they have the purest of intentions for your children. They just want to chop up their junk. Nothing to see here. Hey, Ducky. Nothing to see here. Just Disney trying to get your kids carved up. Nothing to worry about. No perversity at all. Thank you, Keldrick, for the donation. Disney isn't grooming kids. That's not what grooming is. Grooming proceeds to describe what Disney is doing. Yep. Yeah, this is disgusting. Oh, I hate Frosted. Hey, Lester. I'm going to go back on Space Mountain. Quit trying to cut off my dick, right? Yeah, I don't have any desire to go to Disney World. I told one of my friends about this. He was planning a trip to Disney with his wife and kid. And he's like, yeah, fuck those perverts. And you know what? I'm with him on that one. All right, let's talk about something that happened about a week ago that you may or may not have heard of, and that is Ezra Miller got himself in some trouble. For those of you that do not know who that is, Ezra Miller played the Flash on the Justice League movie and the upcoming Flash movie. Now, I just finished watching the Snyder Cut again for Justice League, and I was kind of half awake the last time I saw it, so there were bits I didn't remember. But it's way better than whatever trash fire was released in the theater. And it was still just kind of an okay movie for like 4 hours, but they did give Barry Allen and Cyborg way better parts than what ended up in the Joss Whedon cut. And it was a much more cohesive movie. And that whole thing with like the family and Russians or whatever that Barry had to save, that was fucking dumb. Glad it wasn't in the Snyder cut. But the Snyder Cut was just a darker adult movie. And I think if they had taken the one that was theatrically released and taken a lot of the swearing out, they could have made that a movie like PG-13. And it probably would have been more successful. As it is, though, the Snyder Cut is a way better film. It's just not that good. Making us skids from there seem like they would be great. Yeah, well, you're not wrong, Rotten. How is it people say we have this socially constructed heteronormative lifestyle, but forcing LGBTQ doesn't have any impact? That's a hate fact. Ezra's terrible. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but if you get a chance, look up a clip of Ezra Miller playing the Flash while he's running at super speed, and then picture it as a ninja movie because he moves his arms like he's throwing ninja stars or trying to swim. I don't know what he's doing, but it's not running. The only thing I could think of is he's throwing ninja stars. Went to see Sonic 2 today, caught a matinee with... was it... Oh, with your son? Oh, was it good? I've heard it was good. Universal Studios is awesome. Yeah, I've heard good things about Universal. I haven't been there in ages. I was there once and I remembered nothing of it. I was very, very sick from heat stroke. The Snyder Cut was significantly worse. Just did his best to save it, but he's not a miracle worker. I think they were both very mediocre movies. I just think that the Snyder Cut was a much more cohesive movie. Yeah, with all the rest of Cyborg's story in there, it made more sense. Yeah, I'll talk about Batman here in a little bit because I watched it a while back. I've been meaning to get to it, but I haven't had time to do a stream. I've been overwhelmed with life. Does anyone in the DCEU not hit people off screen? Apparently not. The Flash is running is cringy. Yeah, it was fucking weird, man. It one more day. Brought my son down there 20 years ago, and he wouldn't get on any rides. He's scared roller coasters. I'm not a big roller coaster fan myself. That damn slow mo was horrendous. It was. He runs really weird. It took me a little while to figure it out what it was, but it's the way his hands move when he runs. It looks like he's having a seizure. And then I realized that if he had like throwing stars in his hand and chucking shurikens, it's that same motion. Universal Studios be worth going to the US again. I would wait until they get the Mario Land in and then go. Snyder Cut had more plot holes and made Darkseid into a pussy. I don't know. I think I disagree with you on that one, Frosted. Can you throw a ninja star? Sure I can. Ha! Got it. Movie would have been 2 hours if the whole thing was in normal speed. Yeah, probably. It's like Michael Bay with lens flare, which we'll talk about Michael Bay in a moment here. Oh, thank you, Sir Adamantine, for the generous donation. All this crap is giving normal gays a bad reputation. Absolutely. And if you think that won't be a pushback when the parents get pissed, ooh boy. Because they're going to blame all the LGBTQ for it. It's going to be across the board. You do not want to go after people's kids. That is a really bad move. Universal Studios in LA has Nintendo Land. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. I know they're putting one in the Florida location, but they haven't done it yet. And my sister-in-law, she said the one in Tokyo, I think it is really, really cool. Then ran away and forgot what Earth was. To be fair, he got hit pretty good. I mean, he probably forgot where Earth was because he was busy doing other stuff. I misplace things all the time. And, maybe Darkseid was just had a little blood loss going and he was like a little disoriented. And he probably pooped himself and was embarrassed and had to kill everybody that was on that ship because they knew he pooped himself. And then he forgot about the coordinates because he was so embarrassed. There you go. Just solved that plot hole for you. From Cosmic Book News, Ezra Miller as the Flash on hold following WB emergency meeting. It's from the 6th. Yeah, he looks like he pooped himself, speaking of which. Confirming what we reported yesterday, now it's learned that Warner Brothers has had an emergency meeting regarding the behavior of Ezra Miller, which follows his recent arrest in Hawaii for disorderly conduct and harassment. Rolling Stone reports that the arrest of Ezra Miller prompted an emergency Warner Brothers meeting about the star's future, where an insider says Miller had frequent meltdowns while filming last year on The Flash and described the actor as losing it. He didn't look like he was all that well put together to begin with. It's said that as a result of the meeting, Warner Brothers has decided to hit pause on any future projects involving Miller, including possible appearances in the DC Extended Universe. Regarding Miller's frequent meltdowns and losing it on the set of The Flash, it's said that while the actor didn't yell or have any violent outbursts, Ezra would get a thought in his head and say, "I don't know what I'm doing," which sounds about right. It further said The Flash is in production fraught with drama. This movie's going to blow. Warner Brothers recently announced they pushed back the release date of The Flash by 7 months from the start of the new DC slate to the end. Now, since the Snyderverse has largely been put on hold, there's rumors that it's coming back, but I doubt it. It's too dark. They need to cheerful things up a little bit. This was probably the last of that era, and they're moving the date of it back. It wouldn't be surprising if they dump it onto HBO Max. It's also learned that the behavior of Ezra Miller in Hawaii is worse than first thought. In addition to his arrest at a karaoke bar in Hawaii, where Miller shouted obscenities and grabbed the microphone from a 23-year-old woman as she was singing and allegedly lunged at a 32-year-old man playing darts. That dude was armed. He had darts. A local couple filed a temporary restraining order against Miller the next day. The couple claims Miller allegedly stole the woman's passport and the man's wallet, which included a social security card. Don't ever leave that in your wallet. Driver's license and bank cards. According to the petition to get a restraining order against Miller, which might be extended by the judge, the couple claims that after Miller's arrest at the karaoke bar, Miller burst into their bedroom and threatened them, with Miller saying to the man, "I will bury you and your slut wife." Maybe he's just taking Jack Murphy courses. There's Supergirl. Look at that. She looks so Supergirlish, with that long blonde hair and pale complexion. Yep. Sure. We'll talk about DC cleaning the house here in a little bit. So after he got out of the arrest for being basically a jackass at this karaoke bar, he robbed some people. And I know you're thinking, that's pretty bad. With Flashcast, I don't watch Flashcast, so I don't feel bad about it. Flash is not exactly intimidating. He's not, no. Must have been adorable. Yeah, or psychotic. I don't know which. But if we jump to the next article. This from Bounding. Couple allegedly robbed and threatened by the Flash star Ezra Miller during Hawaii Rampage drop petition for restraining order. This is from 2 days ago. The couple that had their hotel room invaded by the Flash star Ezra Miller. I hope he was wearing the costume. That'd be funny. During his recent terror across the islands, are no longer pursuing a restraining order against the actor. Yeah, because he went back to Hollywood. According to court documents obtained by Fox News and the Associated Press, a judge dismissed the petition for the order on Monday at the couple's request. Their lawyer declined to comment on to Fox on Thursday as to why they were dropping the petition, because a big pile of money showed up at their door from Warner Brothers, probably. After accusing Miller of bursting into their room and making threats before attempting to pilfer an item of their property. The wallet and her passport. What's he going to do with that? The judge initially granted the petition, saying it was needed to prevent future harassment, Fox reported. Though a hearing in the matter was set for Wednesday, its necessity was rendered null and void by the couple dropping their petition. However, hearing in a second and separate case against Miller resulting from one of his wild nights on the Big Island is currently scheduled for April 26th, the same day the Flash film's prequel comic, Fastest Man Alive by Kenny Porter, was originally set to be released. What's going on with his arm here? What is that? That's hideous. God, that's shit. Anyway, he looks like a weirdo. In this case, police were called to the scene when Miller, blocking a sidewalk, was uncooperative and refused to leave the area of downtown Hilo on March 19th. However, this would not be the last of Miller's Hawaiian arrests. For a few nights later, on March 27th, the authorities were called to the Margarita Village bar in Hilo on reports of Miller shouting obscenities, grabbing a microphone away from a woman, singing karaoke, and lunging at a darts player. Dude's just trying to play darts, man. He's trying to get a bullseye and win. Fucker. Arrested, charged for disorderly conduct and harassment, Miller made bail for $500 and was released. The couple involved in the hotel incident filed a petition for a restraining order the next day. Miller's lawyer, Francis Alkane, is in what he calls pre-negotiations for an agreement in these two cases, though he did not reveal any terms or other details about the potential agreement. This dude needs some jail time. He's done shit like this before, and he got bailed out of it, and now he's involved in 3 instances here. Some random people on the street, some poor girl doing karaoke, and some random people in a hotel room. How did he get in that hotel room? What's with your weird Nintendo Power Glove here, dude? Miller previously stirred controversy in 2020 when he chokeslammed a woman at an Icelandic pub. Notably, that did not cost him his jobs in either the Fantastic Beasts franchise or the DCEU, though inside sources told Rolling Stone that his odd behavior carried over onto the set of The Flash, much to the dismay of Warner Brothers. Subsequently, both WB and DC executives reportedly held an emergency meeting to discuss Miller's future. And though they deny the meeting was held, sources say that higher-ups decided to push pause on the actor's participation in any future projects with the studio. If they're smart, they're going to distance themselves. This guy's going to hurt someone very, very seriously. He chokeslammed a bitch a couple years ago, and now he's doing all this weird shit. In light of the actor's supposedly jeopardized future and the rumor that The Flash will be rewritten and reshot to restore the Snyderverse, some fans are calling for Gustin. Mid rumors The Flash will get rewritten and reshoots to fans are calling for Grant Gustin to replace Miller as the cinematic fastest man alive. These paragraphs need to be merged. Nice job, guys. There's an extremely low chance of that happening, as but delayed. The Flash and its comic book prelude are still scheduled for their dates with Destiny in June 2023 and October later this year, respectively. Yeah, that comic book's coming out in October, and the movie doesn't come out till June. That's some horrible timing. I think these people got a big pile of money to drop the restraining order because it'll make him look bad. And he's going to plead out, get some pussy little like community service thing or a fine. But if DC's smart, or Warner Brothers rather, they're going to distance themselves from this idiot. And they're just going to quietly release this on HBO Max. I don't think the Snyderverse is coming back. It's way too adult. They need to focus on a younger audience if they want to bring in more money. Their powers are situational. Yeah, you're not wrong, Monkey. Oh, hey, Pete. Sounds like Shia LaBeouf, but a dickhead. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think this guy's going to end up hurting somebody. He seems to be melting down pretty bad. And it wouldn't surprise me. He already did chokeslam that one chick, but I think he's definitely going to be somebody that ends up going the Shia LaBeouf route. But yeah, I don't think Snyderverse is coming back. I think that's just wishful thinking on a lot of people's parts. All right, let's jump over to ICV2, where you will be glad to know the Flash is too OP. Yeah, they've really made him that way. Look, I understand that DC characters are effectively the ancient gods, but dial it back a notch. I know we got some hip hop people in the crowd, so you'll be glad to know. According to ICV2, Charlemagne the God launches a comic book graphic novel lines. Radio host, author, and media mogul Leonard Charlemagne the God McKinley, is teaming up with actor, director, and comics writer Kevin Griveau to develop original superhero properties as comic series and graphic novels. The first project will be Darkstorm, written by Griveau with art by Ken Lashley, an original graphic novel series featuring a reluctant black superhero who struggles with PTSD. Now that could be interesting if Charlemagne wasn't attached to it. The graphic novels will be published by Charlemagne's Simon & Schuster imprint, Black Privilege Publishing. Well, at least you're honest. Charlemagne and Griveau are also teaming up with AWA Studios, to develop comic book series. Their first project will be The Vindicators, which will star a diverse team of superheroes living in a dystopian future. Of course they are. A lot of black superheroes I loved growing up were street level, and that's cool, but I want to see Omega level superheroes that look like me and people around me, and that's exactly what we're giving you with Darkstorm and The Vindicators, Charlemagne said in a statement accompanying the announcement. Charlemagne's a co-host of The Breakfast Club with a bunch of other unfunny people that are really annoying. Griveau is written for Marvel and DC and is the co-creator of the Underworld film franchise. Last year, he inked a publishing deal for 3 titles set in the Darkstorm universe. Zenoscope did one of them. Something with the gin. I don't remember the title off the top of my head. I own it. I just haven't read it yet. But it looked really good. And I like Grivau's work. He's a very talented guy. But Charlemagne the God, really, this is going to be some racially charged nonsense for no reason. King of the Franks. Yeah. Yeah, Louis naming himself after some white dude. Talk about cultural appropriation. When did Black Panther get introduced? 1964, right around there. Yeah, I liked Black Panther as a kid. I thought he was a cool character, especially when he was in the Avengers. I'm anti-religion and anti-white, but I'm calling myself the first Christian emperor of your right. Well, wasn't this what when they got Static Shock? Yeah, well, they did that a while ago too. Sure. You could argue that Milestone did it better first, but they've been doing a lot of stuff like this over the years. It's been done before. It'll be done again, and this one will probably fail. They just need to write a character that's interesting, that doesn't rely on his skin tone as a crutch. Titan the Ultimate Man or the Ultraman. That was a pretty good book. Didn't rely on that as a crutch at all, and it was a Superman level character. Should just write some of those heroes of Marvel better. Falcon sucked, and Captain America just got unreadable by the end of the recent run. Yeah, that's because Ta-Nehisi Coates was writing Captain America. Thanks for dropping the link, Sherry. Watching Moonwalker with Michael Jackson. I don't think I ever saw that. All right, let's laugh at Marvel for being stupid. Over on Bounding into Comics, Marvel Comics censors King Conan the #2 artwork following accusations of Native American cultural appropriation. See the headdress? Yeah, that's a problem. Face paint. Uh-oh. In light of the backlash to a newly introduced King Conan character sharing the same name as historical Pocahontas' private moniker and her sporting a scantily clad appearance, Marvel has officially edited the Jason Aaron creation, first in comic description, altering her wardrobe in an attempt to both distance her from the Native American cultures and desexualize her appearance. God forbid women look attractive. Introduced by Aaron, who's an overrated art writer. Remember, he gave us Girl Thor. And artist Mohammed Asrar in February 16th, King Conan, Volume 2, Number 2. The controversial character in question first made herself known to readers on the final page of the issue. Watching the titular barbarian from a mountaintop as she finds herself intrigued by the possibility that he may survive a night amongst the undead legions that inhabit her island home, the Golden Ruin. Therein, the unnamed character can be seen clad in little more than a metal bikini, a billowing cloth ornament at her pelvis, and a headdress adorned with bird feathers. Like everybody in hard fantasy should look. Awesome, kind of badass, and slutty. And she's got a pet ape or gorilla, so fuck yeah. While the character's debut caused a little uproar, her subsequent appearance in the next issue, and more specifically the exposition given regarding her background, would. Upon eventually meeting Conan, the mysterious woman gives her name as Princess Matoka, and it explains that she began life in an unspecified fictional kingdom in South America before her love for an explorer from the similarly fictional country of Archon led to her home being raped and pillaged by his fellow countrymen for its treasure. Oh, that sounds very Western of you. Blamed for the ruin of her people, the princess was exiled, being set adrift at sea with a pile of treasure, and cursed to serve wherever she should land as a diversion for all future would-be invaders of her home. Though the entirety of Aaron's story depicts fictional characters and locales, the Avengers writer came under fire on social media after some readers took offense to both the princess's sharing of a name with the real-world Pocahontas, who in her later life went privately by the name Matoka, and her description as the victim of white explorers. Hey, guess what? There were lots of victims of white explorers. The conquistadors annihilated South America. Just ask the Aztecs and the Mayans that survived long enough to see the ruins of their civilizations destroyed. But that was the Spanish, so this is an act of violence against us in our community, wrote Final Space and My Little Pony Equestria Girls Choose Your Own Adventure ending staff writer Kelly Lynn D'Angelo. Your last name's D'Angelo and you're bitching about... Oh, fuck off. Whose tweets in response to the character's reveal were most widely cited by those proclaiming the character to be problematic. The sexualization of a real young girl that was no touched and killed young affects our murdered and missing Indigenous women today. What? You are backwards, sick, and should donate every penny you earned creating this to hashtag MMIW. You misspelled MITAM. Okay, yeah, that's the only hashtag that matters. Eventually, said backlash would lead Aaron to issue an apology, writing in March 2nd statement to Bleeding Cool's Rich Johnston, I made the ill-considered decision to give a character the name of Matoka, a name most closely associated with the real-life Native American figure, Pocahontas. This new character is a supernatural 1,000-year-old princess of a cursed island within a world of pastiche and dark fantasy and never is intended to be based on anyone from history. I should have better understood the name's true meaning and resonance and recognized it wasn't appropriate to use it. No, fuck that. Double down. Now she has another kid named Matoka who bangs a bunch of sailors. Look, none of this looks like the real world, okay? Look, giant ghost monsters. Fuck off, crybabies. I understand the outrage expressed by those who hold the true Matoka's legacy dear. You know, lots of people are named John Smith, right? Like a lot of them. And none of them have anything to do with the guy from the Pocahontas story. I'm just saying. And for all this, the distress I caused, I apologize. As part of that apology, I've already taken what I was paid for the issue and donated it to the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. Ugh. The character's name and appearance will be adjusted for the rest of the miniseries in all digital and collected editions. Oh, so we're just retconning shit now. We're just going to digitally erase it from history so that nobody could ever have this appearance again. Good job, you pussy. Making good on the promise, Marvel has now officially edited the princess's appearance in the digital release of King Conan Volume 2, Number 2, replacing her golden outfit with a baggy tunic and her feathered headdress with one similarly decorated with nondescript blue hair. It looks like she's wearing a brush. Like something you would, I don't know, clean the floor with. Like, you got some spick and span material in here. What? And a generic. It had style and flair before. Now it just looks like she's wearing a burlap sack. This is pathetic. This looks even way more insulting and generic than the other one. The other one at least had like a sense of style to it. And that's why his mouth is open. He's like, what the fuck happened in this comic book? I'm all badass looking next to the bag lady here. As of this writing, it's unknown what the princess's new name will be, as Marvel has yet to update their digital release of Conan Volume 2, Number 3. So in the collected editions, her name's going to be retconned and probably her outfit too. So they're erasing this because you're not allowed to look pretty anymore. You're not allowed to look like you're a princess from a primitive civilization. I mean, who cares? This is not an exact replica of the Aztec or whatever tribe Pocahontas was from. She was from North America, and it implied she's from South America, hence the stripe across her face. So yeah, that's times are changing. This really pissed me off because it shows the exact spinelessness and cowardice that Marvel has. Shush, Shio. I can't address that. Runs with salt. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Keldrig. Apparently, the only thing us whiteys are better at than conquering things is bitching about fiction inspired by history. Yep. A lot of the Conan stuff was based off of various historical things, so it's kind of pussyfied. Shio, thank you so much. Sorry for writing that article. Here's everything I earned for it. Also, Also, in medieval times, people used to attach a lamp to a horse when riding at night. This is earliest known form of satellite navigation. Get it? Satellite. Gonna have to pick up the spicy version. Yeah, it'd probably be worth a little bit. Thank you, Shio. Her correct name is Lady Rebecca Rolfe. Yeah, exactly. Now I feel like making a female explorer named Lady Rebecca Rolfe who goes around killing indigenous people. It's fucking stupid. This just makes look. People used to respect natives and indigenous people. They really did because they were seen as formidable warriors. Now they look like crybabies. It's really sad. Where's Hate Camel and Oki? I need their take on this. Is it redrawn or is a fat lard saying fixed it? They probably will. Frank Frazetta would never survive today. That is so true, Retro. All right, so that's that. All right, let's laugh at Will Wheaton being a pussy. I have more blankets to gift them. Jeez. What a heady baked ham for Easter. My wife's making a turkey. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, man. Oh, hey, Camel. Let me get your take on this since you just got here. Which is more offensive to the indigenous people of the world? This chick who's apparently loosely named after Pocahontas, or what they replaced her with, because she looks kind of hot here, a little chubby for me, but with whatever the fuck's going on right here. Like seriously, this looks like something you'd steal off of a sheet that you stole off of a clothesline when you were caught naked running out of a place. And I don't even know what this big brush thing is on her head. This is my husband cries at litter. Great idea. Make a comic that the left will get butthurt about by a bunch of the comics when they're outraged charges to sell the originals a profit. Yeah, exactly. Well, the seed is what I'd be putting in the burlap sack, you know what I'm saying? Why'd they put her in a burlap sack? Because they said it was sexualizing, and she was named after Pocahontas, so they had to change it so she looked because they're appropriating indigenous culture for this indigenous woman, and you can't have that, so they had to change it to whatever's going on here. First one is fine. People need to grow up. Damn straight. The barn brooms. Oh, yeah, that's probably it. Symbolizes that cleaning is the woman's job. Yes. Good one, Simon. Yeah, this is way more offensive to me because, like I said, this just looks lazy. She doesn't look in any way grandiose or like a leader. She's supposed to be a princess. And this looks way more badass because she doesn't think she needs armor. She's got this cool headdress, giving her some sort of royalty status. And the gold, gold is the skin of the gods from the Egyptians. But there was a lot of gold floating around the Aztecs and Mayans. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think this looks way more badass. She's supposed to be South American pastiche in the Conan universe, but they're getting all bent out of shape about it for no reason. Pocahontas wasn't even from South America. Cover that skin, you harlot. That's kind of where we're at with it. She should be the hijab. I think girls would even think that's better. Yeah, exactly, Lesser. All girls want to be pretty. Princess to crazy homeless lady, exactly. Fine, cover up. It's dumb, but fine. But why that ridiculous burlap sack look? That's what I'm saying. The first one gives her sort of like a not just a regal look, but also like sort of dangerous. Because you can tell she thinks she's a lot tougher, and somebody in a burlap sack doesn't intimidate me. And when we're still going around topless and taken to wearing long petticoats while men still just wore loincloths. Yeah, they gotta go. You don't want a bunch of heavy shit wearing you down when you gotta go hunt animals and shit. You want to show how tough you are. All right, so this is a Salon article about Will Wheaton. Oh, wait, did I drop that link? I'll drop it again. And Will Wheaton is a giant puss bag, as you all know. Well, now you're going to find out exactly just how much of a crybaby he is. During Stand By Me, Will Wheaton was being abused. Jerry O'Connell didn't know. Well, he's like 11 here. They all look like they're like 12, except River Phoenix is like a hard-looking 15. He looks like he'd cut a bitch. And that dude, poor Corey Feldman, man. Jerry O'Connell, River Phoenix, Will Wheaton, and Corey Feldman, Stand By Me. In 2021, as the seminal film Stand By Me celebrated its 35th anniversary, one of its stars came forward with this story. This article's from Friday. Will Wheaton, who appeared in the movie as Gordy, a young boy who searches for a rumored dead body with his best friends in 1950s era Oregon. They were not Antifa guys. Said in an interview with Yahoo Entertainment that he never wanted to perform, but his parents forced him. Wheaton said his mother, who was an actor, made me do it. My mother coached me to go into her agency and tell the children's agent, I want to do what mommy does. I'm not going there. I'm in enough trouble. This was part of a larger pattern of abuse, including psychological abuse and manipulation. Wheaton said he endured at the hands of his parents, from who he is now estranged. The subject came up because of Wheaton's co-stars in Stand By Me was Jerry O'Connell, a fellow child actor who now co-hosts the show The Talk. On his show, O'Connell publicly apologized to Wheaton for the first time for not realizing what Wheaton was enduring when the two were on set together and for not doing anything about it. I do want to apologize for not being there more for you when you were younger, O'Connell said. You never know what someone's going through when you're with them. I don't feel guilt, but I just want to say I'm sorry I wasn't there for you more. What were you going to do, Tubby? Wheaton was also a preteen when he started Stand By Me, the Rob Reiner directed Stephen King adaptation, which would go on to become a classic. His co-star, O'Connell, was even younger, the youngest member of the cast. In the movie, 12-year-old Gordy and his three friends, played by River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, and O'Connell, go in search of a dead body of a missing boy. This adventure brings them across leeches and an older gang of boys, but the older boys made me do it. But the experiences together also bring them together. It also brings each of them personal catharsis as they reckon with hidden issues. In Gordy's case, he is mourning the loss of his dead brother, while also believing that his father hates him. This film is considered a coming-of-age classic. Wheaton accepted O'Connell's apology, saying, I deeply appreciate that. But Wheaton acknowledged the impossibility of the situation, how they were both children at the time and powerless to make change. You were 11. How could you possibly have known? Wheaton said. Also, everybody in the audience who is a trauma survivor knows this. We're real good at covering up what we're going through. Oh, boo-hoo, your parents made you be in a movie. Oh, my parents made me rich and successful. Fuck off. On his website, Wheaton, who is also a writer, went on to start such shows as Star Trek The Next Generation, wrote of his father, in my dysfunctional family, he made me the scapegoat. I didn't deserve it. No child deserves to be treated the way the man who was my father treated me. That is bad grammar. No child deserves to be treated the way my father treated me, is how the man who was my father, he didn't stop being your father just because you disowned him. And you claim you're a writer? Okay. While he was bullying me, humiliating me, making me feel small and unworthy, my mother was enabling and protecting him. Oh, that does sound horrible, but you're in Hollywood. Wheaton said he channeled his own life to create his emotional and empathetic portrayal of Gordy because Gordy's experience was very much reflected my experience. We were both invisible in our homes. I never realized until I was in my 40s that I was Gordy because I was Gordy. What? Wheaton said it's difficult for him to watch Stand By Me now. I cannot ignore the unbelievable sadness in my eyes, and I can. Well, he should be doing some like flares like I cannot believe the I cannot ignore the unbelievable sadness in my eyes. Ugh. And I cannot ignore the reality that it was that sadness, that isolation that I think gave me what Gordy needed to come to life. And I think Rob Reiner saw that. Then Rob Reiner should have helped you. But Wheaton, who is now a father of two, he reproduced twice. That's horrifying. As his Connell wrote, I broke the cycle. I'm not the selfish bully I had the misfortune of being born to. Ugh. There's a video here if you guys want to watch it. I'm not fucking watching that crap. So Will Wheaton was sad because his parents made him do a movie and made him famous. Life's rough, kid. It's so hard being you pussy. Oh, that's it. Copyright. Have a good one, Ryan. Good luck with that. There. Still a bully, just not a selfish bully. I think that Will Wheaton's probably a really bad person. He seems like it. All right, so I know some of you are aware there is a Last of Us TV show being made. And it's going to star Pedro Pascal. Well, according to Video Games Chronicle, Pedro Pascal created a healthy distance from the Last of Us game to prepare for the TV series. I didn't want to imitate it too much. He revealed he deliberately experienced too much of the Last of Us game in case it affected his preparation for the upcoming TV adaptation. Why would you want to go to the source material? The Mandalorian actor who will play Joel in the small screen adaptation of Naughty Dog's critically acclaimed game series told GQ that he was wary of his performance turning into an imitation of the video game version of Joel, a character portrayed by Troy Baker, explaining he didn't have enough skills to play the game. That I believe. Pascal said he watched his nephew playing it instead. I watched for as long as I was able to that day, and then I had to leave Florida. I found Joel so impressive. I found it, the whole of it, such visually impressive experience. And then I got worried that I would want to imitate too much. What I think could be right in some circumstances and then a mistake in others. So I just wanted to create a healthy distance, and for that to be more in the hands of Craig Mazin and Neil Druckerman. Pascal also hinted the show may not follow the exact plot of the game. There's a surprise. Oh, let me guess. There's diversity. Saying there's a very, very creative way of honoring what's important and also preserving what's iconic to the experience of the game, and also to include things that you won't necessarily expect. So she's going to be scissor acting right out of the gate, and they're going to have something where they run across a black guy and they assume he's evil, and of course he's a good guy, and they have to apologize for their white privilege or some bullshit. In the directions that you would expect it to go, and it might not. They're doing some really smart things, is all I can say. I highly doubt that. HBO confirmed in February that the show won't be released this year. The adaptation is the first television series from PlayStation Productions, studio formed by Sony Interactive Entertainment, to adapt its original game properties for film and television. Chernobyl creator Mazin is co-writing and producing the show alongside Naughty Dog co-president Druckmann. I like Chernobyl. I thought that was really well done. I don't have a lot of faith though because, I saw part of that Halo show and holy crap, that's bad. Then he grapes him to death. The show's over. Yes, Scissor Act is the lesbian version of Sister Act. Hey, they make shows out of games. They always suck. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, why would they want to follow that successful formula evolved? Obviously, they need to subvert expectations. So, yeah, get ready for that travesty coming down the line. It's going to be bad. Man, apology from Ricky Ricardo from I Love Lucy. Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. But they do shit on dead people all the time. Like, they kept going after John Wayne for stuff he said in, like, 1977. All right, back to DC news. DC overhaul being explored, Superman revitalized. Sounds like Warner we'll just get into it. Just as many of you have been hoping for and speculated, it said Warner Brothers Discovery is exploring the overhaul of DC Entertainment brand, which includes a revitalized Superman. Variety offers insiders have filled them in that David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, wants to create something similar to what Kevin Feige has done at Marvel, with what sounds like a DC studio where all of DC would fall under the leadership of one executive, which would include the movies and TV, and assuming gaming and comics if they don't shut it down. It said Zaslav has already interviewed candidates for the job, including 20th Century Studios and Paramount executive Emma Watts, but it doesn't appear that Watts will take the job. And it's also said Zaslav is not looking for a creative like a Kevin Feige to take over, but someone more business-like to lead, yet still leave the creative direction open. Warner Brothers Discovery is said to feel that maximizing the potential of its DC brand is important to the overall success of the new merger, and that includes Superman. Yeah, why wouldn't you focus on Superman, the most recognizable superhero in history, worldwide? You can't go anywhere in the world without somebody knowing who Superman is. It said that Discovery believes that the top shelf characters such as Superman have been left to languish and need to be revitalized. And that they want to expand on DC concepts similar to the Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie and exploit second build characters, with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn given as another example. Harley Quinn has been fucked over, so that Birds of Prey movie was a shit fest. And let's face it, Margot Robbie, she's not as hot as everybody says. Let's be real. She's good looking, you'd plow her, but she's getting on in the years. The eggs are powdering, shit's sagging. It's further said that Zaslav believes the company must do more to grow its approach to the comic book fair, including bolstering gaming. They own some of the most iconic characters in modern history of the last nearly 100 years. To be fucking up as bad as they have, they almost have to be trying. A name thrown out there in the article includes Walter Hamada, who took over DC Films in 2018. As it said, Hamada has achieved more consistency in terms of both the critical and commercial reception with the company's movies. That Hamada is still under contract until the end of 2023. Hamada could play an important role in whatever Zaslav has planned. I don't think he's the right choice for it. Regarding the comparisons to Kevin Feige and Marvel prior to a couple years ago, the Marvel brands were separate at Disney, Marvel Studios, and Marvel TV, and they didn't get along as head of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, butted heads with the head of Marvel TV and comics like Ike Perlmutter and his crew that made up Marvel Comics Creative Committee. Prior to Disney Plus launching, Kevin Feige became in complete control of Marvel, including TV, gaming licenses, and comics. And now the Marvel brand is uniform under Feige. For DC, it's been if you've been a fan or following any of the news for the past decade or so, you know things at DC have been a big mess with executives constantly coming and going, as well as problems behind the scenes and with its movies, questionable decisions with the DC characters, and failed projects. For example, the CW is a network at Warner Brothers that has never made money, but worth a mention is that DC shows on the CW have made money when they are sold for streaming. Except Batwoman, which still sucks. Regarding Superman needing to be revitalized, there's no question that has to be done, as Henry Cavill hasn't really been Superman since 2017, and so it's been 5 years already. Yeah, they should have had at least 2 Superman movies out by now. The short of it is that Zack Snyder's approach to Superman failed completely and has been rejected by most fans. So if Discovery wants to revitalize the Man of Steel, I hope they go back to the character's roots, similar to an updated approach to the Richard Donner and Christopher Reeve version, not whatever Ta-Nehisi Coates is doing with his Black Superman. There's a lot of rumors that that movie's being shelved, but he is still working on a script. Margot's cute as hell, but her butt is flatter than, well, her chest. Yeah, she's okay. Kind of girthy. Imitating Marvel makes no financial sense. It's failing. What they need to do at DC is do a bunch of solo movies or team up movies where it's one or two characters doing more small scale stuff, and then slowly do a Justice League movie where they all come together. The movies don't have to be linked for that to happen. They were trying to keep it. I don't know if they're trying to keep it alive or not. But Zack Snyder, his movies were too dark. These characters are kids' characters. They're power fantasies for children. They're the gods of ancient times. So they have to be smiling and not constantly in this washed out darkness. It's too depressing and dour. Make them happy again. Superheroes need to smile. They should like their job. They're super powerful. Henry Cavill actually tried to revitalize the Superman with his Mission Impossible director, Chris McQuarrie, along with Green Lantern. But execs at WB at the time put the kibosh on the idea, so maybe Zaslav would want to take a look at those ideas again. I believe WB passed on these ideas because of J.J. Abrams. Yeah, probably. And again, what I find interesting is that all this time during the talk of Warner Brothers Discovery, there have been no mention of Abrams. Abrams, who signed that mega deal with WB back in 2019. But to note again, what is interesting is Abrams' producer wife choice to take over WB has been fired as a result of the merger. Something else not being talked about. The article directly mentioning gaming is also interesting. There really haven't been any good DC games since release of Batman Arkham series at Rocksteady. I enjoyed the Injustice games. Also, just last month, saw the news that the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game has been delayed, which I think is a mistake. They need to start focusing on the heroics and aim it at a 12 to 18 demographic. Because then they'll bring in the parents and the kids, and they need to bring in younger followers for superheroes, or it's a waste of money. Because your core audience is aging out. You need to set up that younger audience, and they're really not doing that at all. Which is why I think Justice League really was a spectacular flop, because nobody knew what the fuck was going on. Who was this movie for? It was sometimes bright and colorful, other times washed out and awful. Yeah, Cavill would make it. He's a great Superman. He's got the look. They're dark enough on their own. They don't need them, bring them into the depths further. Yeah, make things happy again. Those are the last 10 minutes of Justice League. You're not wrong, Frosted. Yeah. This is pathetic because these characters are, I'm sorry, they're aimed at children. And that's who the demographic should be. You should want to have a Superman movie like the first one, where it could be watched by an 8-year-old and an 80-year-old. The 8-year-old may not get everything, but if you have enough action in there, they won't fucking care. They'll be like, explosions! Now let's go to the other article that's related to this one. It's from the 5th. The Discovery cleaning house as Warner Media execs depart in bloodbath. Which I actually might have 2 articles on this. Batman as the Dark Knight has ruined the DCU. Yeah, even Frank Miller has said that. He said they should never have done that. Hang on one second. Okay. Because that was supposed to be a one-off, and everybody wanted to imitate it, so they have to deconstruct the characters over and over again, and eventually there's nothing left. You have to go back to the positivity, the good guys beating the bad guys. That sold. It sells in movies, it sells in books, it sells in comics, across the board. People want to see some form of hope, and DC was always good for that because they were generally aimed at younger audiences, where Marvel was aimed more at like high school and college levels. DC stuck with the kids for a really long time, till about 1986, when we got Watchmen, V for Vendetta, and The Dark Knight Returns. and then they slowly became more and more adult. Well, if they wanted to age it up to like high school, that'd have been fine. You could still get some of the younger readers and some of the older readers, but I think they really made a mistake by trying to make everything dark, gritty, and adult, because the demographic just isn't there for that. That's not the target audience. Young men are the audience for superheroes. It's power fantasy. Or use the brighter bat. Yeah. The new Batman movie was a much better portrayal. Yeah, I'll get to my talk on that in a minute. Discovery started to clean house at Warner Media, which kicks off days prior when the merger is expected to go through, possibly as early as Friday. It's already gone through, I think. Trades have started to report on the departures, which sees Deadline describe them as a bloodbath. Wait, didn't I pull up the Deadline article? I know I did. Damn it. I had that article. All right, well, whatever. We'll just do this one. They fired a shit ton of people. The trades have started to report on the departures as part of a bloodbath Tuesday at Warner Media. That includes Jason Killer, the CEO, Warner Media, Andy Forcell, EVP and General Manager, HBO Max, and the third, which I'm surprised, is Ann Sarnoff, the chair and CEO, Warner Media Studios and Networks Group. Before we get into Ann Sarnoff, more on that below. Jason Kilar is out, and Discovery CEO David Zaslav is taking over when the merger goes through, who will serve as president and CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. Deadline reports that Zaslav is not a fan of layers, and we will see that is true, as all three Warner Media positions are either eliminated or replaced by execs at Discovery. Andy Fossil is out, and according to Deadline, JB Perrette, president and CEO of Discovery Streaming and International, has been speculated for a while now to be taking over the newly merged company's combined direct-to-consumer streaming operations. Update: 6 more executives are out as of Wednesday. CFO Jennifer Beery, Jason Kilbur's right-hand corp comms person, Christy Haubegger, who is also the chief inclusion officer. Oh, now that's interesting, isn't it? They fired the chief inclusion officer. That's probably the smartest move I've heard about this thing so far. EVP Chief Human Resources Officer Jim Cummings. Oh, second smartest move. Executive Vice President Chief Revenue Officer Tony Goncalves. EVP General Counsel Jim Meza. And Chief Technology Officer Richard Tom. He's got 2 first names. I don't know about that. So let's see who else they fire. Regarding my surprise about Ann Sarnoff, who's been said to be a big supporter of DC, when I was at the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con, DC insiders filled me in that part of the big-time J.J. Abrams WB deal, Adams' producer wife, Katie McGrath, was responsible for getting Ann Sarnoff named as the new chair and CEO of Warner Brothers, which followed the Kevin Shahari sex scandal, as Abrams and his wife wouldn't sign if Kevin was still there, so Sarnoff was named the first female in Warner Brothers history to hold the title and make Abrams as happy. So what Discovery cleaning house, not replacing executive positions and putting their own people in charge, tells me is that big changes are coming to Warner Brothers and possibly the DC brand, and that they don't care about the internal drama at Warner Brothers and probably want to get rid of it. Yet they fired the chief inclusion officer. That's actually a good sign. It's also probable that as Discovery eliminates and replaces the higher-ups at Warner's, that the waterfall will continue and those newly appointed Disney execs will appoint new people in positions below them, people loyal to them. And that makes sense. But they're firing a lot of people that have been kind of troublemakers. Now, Ann Sarnoff's kind of a mixed bag, but a lot of these people were the ones pushing the diversity and inclusion bullshit. Richard Cherry already left, and I'm guessing that Jim Lee's probably going to be leaving soon as well. So we'll see how that plays out. Guardians of the Galaxy outsold some of your movies. They should be all fired. Absolutely. How do you fuck up superhero movies? I don't get it. this should be a pretty simple formula. You could just go back to the Richard Donner Superman and be like, okay, what worked here? Or Superman 2 is a celluloid classic. The 1989 Batman, what worked in it and what didn't? And let's face it, we all saw Batman at least once, the 1989 one. And if you didn't see it, kind of surprised. But don't forget, I'm brought to you by you. If you like what you're seeing, please hit the like button, share it on your social media, and subscribe if you haven't. If you're feeling generous, toss me a couple bucks at the Streamlabs link going through the chat, pinned at the top of your chat, or in the description. Also, I have a Patreon and shirts. And thanks for subscribing, Dax. I just got notified of that. Nothing against Guardians of the Galaxy, but they're AAA characters. Yeah, they're like D-level characters. Modern goofy Adam West style Batman could exist in the multiverse world. Yeah, absolutely. And that was a comedy show when it came out, so they've had a sense of humor about themselves before. Of course, Batwoman's kind of a comedy, inadvertently. Hey, Costin, how's it going, man? But there's a lot they could be doing with this. They were doing pretty well with the comic stuff up until about 6 years ago. And then they started getting the woke crap in. And now we have bisexual Robin and bisexual Superman boy, whatever. It's fucking dumb. And their sales are tanking because of it. And it would not surprise me if they shut down DC Comics and licensed out the properties. Think Batman works as a serious, stern character, not dark, but not always happy and laughing. Yeah, but he doesn't have to be. Batman hasn't always been Mr. Frowny Face. He could be serious and do a detective story, but it doesn't have to be all dark and sinister all the time. He used to occasionally beat up just like people stealing TVs. Just not Batman how he's now. He should be on Epstein Watch. Right? Saw that one a few years after it came out because I would have been 2 in 1989. Oh my god. Yeah. I was at summer camp when it came out. And after we all got back from camp, my entire Boy Scout troop of all the kids that were at that camp went out to see it together. And that was a lot of fun. And I kind of hated some of those guys. But that was a fun movie. It wasn't overly serious. It was campy, but it was also a fun Batman movie. Think they'll hire transgenders who are really woke to take the place of the people who were fired? I don't think they will. I think they're going to try and find people that'll make them money. Because Discovery is doing fairly well. Remember, they own TLC, which has My 600-Pound Life, so we could have a crossover that you did not expect you would ever see. My 600-Pound Wonder Woman. Didn't see Batman in the theater, was busy being born. Figures. Look at you, not being born in a movie theater. Show off. Oh, I can afford to go to the hospital. All right, well, they are doing something else. Wonder Twins cast leads with KJ Apa and Isabel May. So, yeah, the Wonder Twins are coming your way. There they are. Her head looks that's a terrible photo of this woman. He's Archie. KJ Apa, known for the CW's Riverdale, is set to play Zan, who has the ability to turn into the shape of water. Isabel May, known for 1883, is playing his twin sister Jaina, who can turn into a form of an animal. The movie is in development for HBO Max streaming service from the co-writer Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam and Rampage movies. Adam Sistical, who penned the script and is making his directorial debut. Oh, he's writing and directing? That's a winning combination for a first-timer. Although Black Adam looked pretty good. On videotape. Thanks, Evolved. Where'd my mouse go? Damn it. Okay, there it is. Leaked casting calls revealed villains of the film will apparently be twins as Pills and Vinka talk in unison, walk in unison, and wearing matching outfits, and that they're unnerving and are set on a mission to kill Jaina and Zan. Jane is also said to have a roommate who's described as optimistic but isn't all there, with a couple of screws loose. Oh, she sounds quirky and unique. I bet she's non-binary too. And that she's trying to become best friends with Jaina no matter the cost. And she also has a crush on Chad, the Earth name of Zan. Ugh. Where's Gleek though? Who's playing Gleek? Here they are in Smallville. That looks really awkward. Teen Titans Go. There's Gleek from the Crisis crossover. Yeah, no mention on Gleek. The Wonder Twins also have a pet monkey, Gleek, who assists their crime-fighting activities. Yeah. So, yep, there you go. Archie Andrews and whoever this bitch is. She's probably cute, but that's not a flattering photo. It looks like she has no neck. So yeah, that's going to be your casting. Form of something you can defeat with any solid object. Yep. Are all article names designed by Mr. Mixelplick? Yeah, pretty much. Form of ice recognition of my privilege. Form of Jack Murphy's dildo. Oh, dear God. Conjoined twins. Yeah. Yeah, her name sounds familiar, Isabel May. So I'd have to look her up. I don't think I've seen her naked, but that'd probably be fun. She does look appropriately skinny, though. All right, in comic book news, IDW launches 9 original comic series. Because why not? The ship's sinking, right? Although I do like the cover concept here. It's pretty good. But these are by Scott Snyder, G. Willow Wilson, Kevin Scott, and others. All right, so what do we got here? We got Dark Spaces Wildfire by Snyder and Sherman, a thriller that follows an all-female firefighting team of prison inmates who hope to make a big score by cleaning out a burning mansion in the aftermath of a California wildfire. All right, that actually sounds like it could be a pretty fun heist movie. Too bad it's probably not going to be very good. True Cult, written by Scott Bryan Wilson and artist Lianga Kangas, 5-issue limited series about a guy who grabs his last chance to escape a lifetime of dead-end jobs and gets tangled up with a satanic cult. You know, like you do. You're like, I'm tired of my McJob. Time to join a cult. Crashing, written by Matthew Klein and art by Morgan Beam, 5-issue series set during a superhuman war and starring an emergency room doctor who struggles with addiction while facing up a dangerous new reality. So it's Dr. House with superheroes. Great. Earth Divers, written by Stephen Graham Jones and artist David Gianflesh. An ongoing series that follows 4 indigenous time travelers who leave an apocalyptic future era to go back and kill Christopher Columbus in the hopes of preventing the settlement of America. Well, the Chinese will just resettle, or the Norse. That's dumb. That'll be stupid. Dead Sea is written by Kevin Scott and artist Nick Brokenshire. A 6-issue limited series about a convict trapped on a sinking ghost-infested prison ship whose only chance of survival is to get the ghosts, the convicts, and the guards to work together. Okay. Golgotha Motor Mountain, written by Matthew Ehrman and Lonnie Hadler, and art by Ryan Lee. High-energy tale of 2 meth-cooking brothers making a mad dash for home with a host of hostile aliens on their tail. God, that sounds horrible. Arca, written by Van Jensen and art by Jesse Longergan. Original graphic novel about an extraterrestrial resort for billionaires staffed by indentured teenage servants and the reaction of one girl who learns the deck is stacked against her. So it's Epstein Island. Good job. The Sin Bin, written by Robbie Thompson and art by Molly Meraki, a 6-issue limited series that follows the adventures of a hockey player turned monster hunter searching for the killer of his daughter's mother. Okay, that could be okay. The Hunger and the Dusk, written by G. Willow Wilson, who wrote so many beautiful ballads like Miss Marvel. And I Am Not Starfire, stupid shit. and artist Chris Wildgoose 12-issue series that changes the dynamic of the rivalry between humans and orcs. Orcs are black people, I heard. And when a new species emerges that threatens both groups, forcing them to unite against a common enemy. Oh, it'll be racial dynamics. Good job. IDW has more new properties in the works, including a comic by writer John Ridley, who really doesn't seem to like white people and is writing that back. I Am Batman, which is about the black Batman. It is not very good. A number of new middle grade and YA graphic novels, and is planning to develop these new comics and graphic novels for film, television, and other media. Now, earlier I had mentioned that Graveau and Charlemagne the God were doing work over AWA. AWA basically does books that they're trying to pitch to Netflix. So those will be really, really crap. United States coming at me again. Yeah, well, you know, they're out. These are intellectually bankrupt cases most of the time. All this stuff sounds like generic films. So, of course, that's what they're going for. They're going for lazy, uninspired movies that they think are original and unique. So, it looks pretty shitty. But I'll drop the link if anybody wants it. All right. Also over at ICB2, for you gamers out there, Goodman Games launches new Dungeon Crawl Classics Indiegogo campaign. It's Tome of Adventure Volume 1. It's a new hardcover book collecting the first 7 adventures of the DCC RPG in one volume. Approximately 176-page book. Will include Doom of Savage Kings, Sailors on the Starless Sea, with bonus the Summoning Pits level, the People of the Pit with bonus content, the Assassins of the Pit, the Emerald Enchanter, and mini sequel, the Emerald Enchanter Strikes Back, the Jewel of Carnifex, the 13th Skull, and Beyond the Black Gate. We'll also have a new cover painting by Doug Kovacs and select pieces of new interior art. As of the publication of this article, the Indiegogo campaign has taken in $7,000 with 156 backers at $48 per backer. The perk features a print version of the Tome Adventure. It's $40. The product is expected to deliver by October. They also recently released Judges Guild Deluxe Collector's Edition Volume 2. These Dungeon Crawl Classics are actually pretty good modules from what I've seen of them. And they have a very old school feel compared to a lot of the new stuff from like Wizards. So if you're an RPG player and looking for some new adventure stuff, Dungeon Crawl Classics has a lot to offer you on that front. I've got the core rulebook for their system. I haven't read it yet, but it looked pretty good. We'll just kind of flip through it a little bit. But you know what doesn't look good, according to Dicebreaker, is, and I know you video game players will know this, but the Dark Souls RPG rulebook is a mess and players aren't happy. What? Dark Souls might have some issues with people dying? Oh, no. Dark Souls tabletop RPG has come under fire from players following its recent release, with criticism aimed at a number of mistakes, incoherent rules, and other seemingly widespread errors throughout its physical rulebook. The number of threads on they went to Reddit, really, details a variety of mistakes and inconsistencies within the game's physical rulebook, which was released by publisher Steamforged Games in the UK last month and is due for US launch on May 16th. The standard version of the 500-page rulebook is £50 or $50, with its limited collector's edition at £95, $95. That doesn't math because £50 is way more than $50. The errors reportedly range from fairly small, such as spelling mistakes and typos, to those that potentially have an effect on gameplay, including apparently rules oversights and inconsistencies. Here's a simple way to solve that. Hey, Game Master, what's the ruling? Then he gives you a ruling, and you're like, okay. And then you write that down for later. There you go. Problem solved. That's called creative thinking. And one of the more glaring examples spotted by players, the Knight class cannot begin the game with the 16 strength points required to use the Knight armor specified as its starting equipment. Well, you can have the equipment and not use it. The highest possible starting strength is 15 using the brute origin. In a similar case, the caster origin, one of 4 backgrounds selected during character creation that influences starting stats and abilities, doesn't have enough strength to wield the cleric's class starting weapon, despite being recommended as a suitable origin for the class. That's some really shit playtesting right there. I understand if they didn't playtest this and like one dude wrote it, fine, I'll give you some slack, but sounds like this is just really badly done. Other rules appear to directly contradict the apparent benefit of spells and abilities. The fall control spell requires the players to make a dexterity save throw against their own spell difficulty class, resulting in a situation where the spell becomes more difficult to successfully cast as the character becomes stronger. Meanwhile, the ability of Firelink Greatsword Weapon requires the player to spend 2 points of position, the game's equivalent of hit points, to heal just 1 point of position, making the effect redundant. Meanwhile, being reduced to 0 position immediately results in the character's death, but a healer's kit item mentioned later in the book is described as stabilizing a character on 0 position. Yeah, we never went with 0 as dead in D&D, so you were just about to die. -10 was dead unless you took massive trauma. Further examples include an incorrect description of the Crystal Soul Spear sorcery, which instead uses the text for the combustion pyromancy spell, and inconsistencies in position is calculated during initial character creation, and at higher levels leading to confusion among players as to how to correctly work out their total. Well, good job. In other places, the game's use of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition gameplay system as its framework, which can be used to power other RPGs via Wizards of the Coast open game license, is apparently visible in reference to D&D classes such as Paladin rather than their Dark Souls replacements. I pre-ordered the Dark Souls Special Edition version, and frankly, I'm disgusted with it, said player Sam Day, according to an email. Day is among the players who have compiled lengthy lists of mistakes and corrections across multiple Reddit threads. You have too much free time. With one post detailing more than 24 such errors and the page numbers on which they're found. Oh my God, get a girlfriend. The only response from SFG to the subreddit I've seen has been to give a soft sorry and ask for a list of mistakes instead of finding them all themselves, they added. So, yeah, obviously their editorial team didn't do their job. Some players have offered their own house rules and corrections to the rules as written in the book, ranging from weapon damage to making temporary position received at the beginning of combat encounters by rolling dice equal to the character's level, easier to add up. Yeah, they're just kind of bitching after that. Steamforge previously announced that a digital PDF of the game's rules will be made available for free to those whose purchase of the physical rulebook directly from the publisher. A release date for the digital edition is yet to be announced, with no official confirmation as to whether any of the errors will be corrected in the PDF or future printings of the physical book. At Steamforged, our primary goal is to create compelling tabletop experiences that capture the hearts and imaginations of our fans, immersing them in vivid worlds that they could get lost in and time again. Wow. Well, we feel we've achieved that with Dark Souls, the role-playing game. In light of the overwhelming positive reviews, we acknowledge the concerns some have raised and take all feedback seriously. Although these concerns should affect the playability of the game, we're always striving to strengthen our processes to ensure our loyal fans continue to enjoy the games we release. That's a boilerplate bunch of bullshit, isn't it? So if you ordered this, I feel bad for you, because you're probably going to hate it. Yeah, that makes sense, Evolved. Zero's unconscious, exactly. You can recover from zero. It's always worked better that way. All right, now let's talk about something that I enjoy, which is Masters of the Universe. From Dicebreaker, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is now a miniatures game. Well, it's not like this is the first one. Because Cool Mini or Not's releasing one that was a Kickstarter, which was like $400. But you can fight in the ruins or corridors. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. The classic toy line of the 1980s cartoon series. Well, it was a toy line before a cartoon series. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe has been made into a new miniatures game called Masters of the Universe Battlegrounds. The upcoming game sees players taking control of the opposing sides of a war taking place in the world of Eternia. Based on the classic action figures and animated show, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the miniatures game enables players to command either the valiant Masters of the Universe or the villainous evil warriors using a collection of miniatures, dice, and terrain. Players will have access to different selections of characters depending upon which side they've chosen, with the Masters of the Universe featuring the likes of He-Man himself, alongside recognizable likes such as Orko and Man-at-Arms, and the evil warriors being led by Skeletor and various cronies. Each playable character comes with its own reference card displaying important information about their abilities and stats, with every character having his own unique powers. So we see Stratos and Ram Man here as well. During a Masters of the Universe Battlegrounds, players take turns moving their units across the battlefield and perform their attacks on specified enemies. Players' unit will be able to move and perform a certain number of actions depending on the fate cards they've drawn at the beginning of their turn. Depending on where and how a unit is positioned, players will have a greater or lesser chance of scoring a hit on them. Players can place their units behind and on top of pieces of terrain to either give them better cover or an improved view of enemy units. Blah, 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 blah. It's coming out in April 26th with a retail price of $99 or 76 euros. So, yep, there you go. Master Universe miniatures game. Little walls and stuff. So, yeah, looks like there's Trapjaw. See if I can enlarge that. Yeah, there's Skeletor, Trapjaw, Triclops. That's Man-at-Arms over here. No, that's not Man-at-Arms. Who's that? Oh, that's probably Merman. I can't see who that is. Yeah, there's Merman, Evil Lyn. So, yep, the usual classics. Hey, Grizel, how you doing, man? Teal's the bestest ever. Probably not in this. This looks a little bit more like it's the original cartoon, not that garbage thing that Kevin Smith shat onto the planet. So we'll find out at the end of the month. All right, let's talk about the final article of the night. Then I'll tell you about what I thought about the Batman. And that is Marvel depicts Jesus Christ as a mutant in the first issue of Immoral X-Men. Marvel just can't stop taking a dump on people. In a move that surely has no possibility of backfiring, Marvel has confirmed in the premiere issue of Immortal X-Men that at least within the 616 continuity, the miracles performed by the Christian Savior Jesus Christ were not the result of his holy existence, but rather a latent X gene. Written by Kieran Gillian with art by Lucas Warnock and Dave Curiel. The March 30th debut of the Quiet Council-centric Immortal X-Men begins its core story with Magneto, freshly cleared of the murder of Scarlet Witch, offering his retirement from the Mutant Species Leadership Board. So they have to vote in a new person. Blah, blah, blah. Boring politics drama. See, this is an actual page from the comic with a lot of people standing around blathering on and on because that's what passes for reading comprehension now over at Marvel. The people dribbling and having a diarrhea vomit out of their mouth. However, after conducting interviews with these mutants, the Quiet Council finds themselves unable to reach any sort of consensus as to who should replace Magneto. Amongst these interviewed, Quiet Council member and Omega level former X-Men foe Exodus, himself regularly established to be a devout follower of the Christian faith, makes his way to Krakoa's Arbor Magna, seeking out Hope Summers for an audience as she plays her part in the island's resurrection protocols. X-Men are immortal now. They could just raise it. So death means nothing to the X-Men because they have these 5 mutants who join together and raise the dead. Taking her aside, Exodus explains that I am a mutant of faith. I have that faith in you, and you cannot prevent that. Your coming rekindled the fiduciary of mutants. He continues, the Holy Spirit came upon you. The Phoenix interrupts Hope. The burning space bird came upon me. There's no need to get religious. At this point, making a reference to her work with the resurrection protocols, Exodus turns to Hope and attempts to persuade her to his side by comparing her abilities of the three resurrections of the son of the widow of Nain, Jairus' daughter, and Lazarus performed by Jesus Christ and recorded in the Bible. The Nazarene mutant inspired a church among the humans by raising a couple from the dead, he asserts. I just watched you beat that in the last 5 minutes. And now he continues, you have given us an actual heaven. Noting that they don't like us using that word, Hope responds, the waiting room is just a backup. Yes, which is a cowardly word for heaven, he counters. They don't like saying heaven as it scares them with its honesty. As Hope once again cuts him off straightforwardly, asking enough of the alkalite stuff and cut to the chase, what do you want from me? The pair then proceed to the Quiet Council to put her membership for a vote, which ultimately results in her appointment to the group. Now, they also have been slowly taking characters away from being religious. We saw that with Nightcrawler when he abandoned his 40-year history of the Catholic faith to become a worshiper of the mutants and founding a religion based on mutants. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's exactly right, Godzilla. It's lazy art. I did a lot more in PSP. Yeah, this is lazy art. Especially because they're just standing around and it's not even good. Like, these shoulders aren't proportioned equally. Yeah, he's supposed to be slightly turned, but the lining doesn't. It looks like his shoulder's bigger than this one. And it's not because of his body position either, because this should be back further. Instead, they're level, even though the tie is askew. This one should be cocked back slightly higher, and this one forward more. But instead, they just made it bigger. That doesn't make it proportionate. She has a giant fupa mound. Either that or her pants are hiked way too high. And look, the background is one image, and they just broke it up into 3 panels. And it looks pretty much the same as this one. So they recycled the background image, just shifted this over slightly. I don't know. I think this art's shit. Her face has no detailing on it. The shadowing here makes him look like a Calypso. But it's shit art, a shit story, and a big slap in the face to Christians. And the cover is what this is. This is the cover of Immortal X-Men, and it's the Last Supper picture. So, which is a little bit blasphemous, honestly. Now, do Muslims now. Let's see what you do with Muhammad and his 9-year-old wife. As long as they did the same with Muhammad. His power was to diddle kids. Oh, thank you, Keldrig. Why would you even want to touch religion if you didn't have to? It's a dumb move. It is, but it's designed to get people to buy the issue. And they really are this fucking conceited that they think that they're being edgy. This shit was all done in the 90s. Preacher did it better and a lot more of a slap in the face, quite frankly. So they think they're being edgy, and it just comes off as trite and lazy. Yeah, you're slapping Christians in the face. Good job. Bunch of people that won't fight back and probably already gave up on your book. Just finished all the inks for the comic kids. Kickstarter goes live May 1st. Nice. Awesome, dude. Here, you'll have to remind me when the time comes so that you can shill it. Comics are hard to sell, so comic books have to be visual and story crack or you'll go broke. Exactly, Peter. They don't understand that because they're stupid and don't understand how business works. And sadly, most Marvel comics and a lot of Dynamite books are now only 20 pages of content. Yeah, exactly, Frosted. Oh, congratulations, Deckfish. So yeah, that was just so lazy. That's the worst part, is that it's not even that it's edgy or anything like that, because it's not. It's all been done before 20, 30 years ago by better writers and artists. Steve Dillon and Garth Ennis on Preacher. Look, I didn't like the book because I thought it was kind of stupid and over the top, but I can respect that they did a good job on it. It just wasn't for me. Wasn't anything I was interested in. This is lazy. It's lazy storytelling. It's a bunch of people standing around talking like they're in some kind of like stage play. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of comics are. They're boring. Nothing happens for a long, long time, usually more than an issue. And it's uninspiring. It's just empty talking. Nothing actually happens. Villains are supposed to have god complexes. Yeah. Oh yeah, no worries, Grizel. So yeah, I don't know. It's just fucking pathetic. All right, let's talk about the Batman movie. Now, when you see the movie, if you choose to, which I would recommend, it's 3 hours, so pee beforehand. And don't drink a lot of fluid during, or you're gonna be holding that for a while. I thought the pacing was actually pretty good because as soon as it starts to get to a low point, something happens. So you never really quite look at your watch or your phone. And I was about to look at it a couple times and stuff happened. Yeah, Viking, I just read that one and I was pretty impressed actually. $4 to $7 for 20 pages. Yep. Thankfully, like Xenoscope still does like 32 pagers for $6, sometimes 7. But those are written like 80s comics or early 90s, where there's action constantly. Stuff's happening. You may not know who all the characters are, or they're because they're like public domain ones, like Little Red Riding Hood, as like espionage spy fighting monsters and shit. But at least they're interesting and they have stuff going on. I'm glad they cut that scene, Retro. I didn't think it fit. And I don't think the actor is the right choice for the Joker. I'm going to try not to give too many spoilers, but overall, I thought it was a pretty decent detective story. What a lot of people don't like about it is the portrayal of Bruce Wayne, which I would agree with, but Batman does evolve over the course of the story, which we really haven't seen too much of in the past. He's pretty much a stagnant character. But in this movie, they actually had him learning from his mistakes. He was the first person to jump in at various points to try and help people, which says a lot about him. But it also shows him going from like the angry, I am vengeance type to being more of a symbol. So we actually see his evolution. He hasn't quite worked out his Bruce Wayne persona. He needs a fucking haircut through the whole thing. And the main complaint people seem to have is that the movie's dark. I maintain that Gotham is trying to go green. And that's why there are like 5 light bulbs in the whole city. Because it's dark as shit through the entire fucking movie. Make sure you have no lights behind you glaring onto the screen when you watch it. Because you won't see anything then. The movie is very, very visually dark. It's not really it does have some dark themes, but it's very much a noir movie. And I liked that about it. I thought it was really interesting takes on the characters, and there were some great actors in there. What's the guy's name? John Turturro was great as Falcone. So when manga are winning, there's a lot more action. You get a lot more content for the money. Absolutely. Also thought the Joker movie was overrated. I thought the Joker movie was fun, but it's one of those movies you'd have to be in the mood for. It's like watching Taxi Driver. It's not going to be for everyone, and you really have to be in the mood for it. It's not something you could just casually put on. Considering he's a new, younger Batman. Yeah, that's the thing. He hasn't quite worked out his character of Bruce Wayne, because let's face it, he is Batman. Bruce Wayne is the secret, is the fake identity. But I actually thought it wasn't bad. It was an interesting interpretation. And on the upside, they now have a reason to sell Batman bobbleheads because Robert Pattinson has a huge fucking noggin. Not Leonardo DiCaprio at 16 big, because like Leonardo DiCaprio grew into his head. Like literally, he looked like an alien as a child. If you watch him in Basketball Diaries, you're like, damn, that dude's head is huge. But I thought this was actually pretty good. The acting wasn't bad. The woman that played Catwoman was a little bit of a ham. I think she was probably a little over the top, and at times Pattinson was too. But I think that really comes down to the fact that he didn't seem like he wanted to be there. But overall, I enjoyed the movie. I think Matt Reeves had a really good vision for what he wanted to do, and it was an interesting take on Batman, which I wouldn't mind watching a sequel of. I would rather they didn't have Pattinson in it, because I don't think he wants to do that, but I thought it was a pretty decent movie. I haven't seen Joker. It looks all right, but I'm not a fan of them making him so human, if that makes sense. Yeah, I get it, but it's like an alternate take on him. It's not the Joker. It's just a movie about a different type of Joker. Excuse me. I think Bruce Wayne is fun and happy, then Batman gets him serious. Yeah, Bruce Wayne is a facade. He's got to come off as like the playboy, doesn't care about anything. The kind of guy that would just drop everything to go bang some supermodel somewhere. It's a guise that he wears. Director said Bruce Wayne was based off Kurt Cobain, a rich, famous guy who hated being that way. Yeah, I could see that, but in the movie, he looks more like an obsessed person because he's obsessed with his crime fighting and is just paying no attention to being the playboy because he thinks it's distracting. That's how it came off to me. And I could see the interpretation that you're describing where he's a little more emo, but he's not really Bruce Wayne that much in the movie. And quite frankly, they could have toned it down to where he was barely ever Bruce Wayne. It just wasn't needed. Yeah, check out Griselda's Kickstarter too. He's going to do a comic book. So based on of Cobain to do shotgun to shotgun. Yeah. Well, he committed. Joker would be, and should have ended with Joker on a psychiatrist's couch with the shrink saying the 20th different story on how he came to be. Yeah, well, that's the thing. That wasn't part of the mainstream continuity. It's a side thing in its own little pocket universe. They're talking about doing a sequel, which I think would be a huge mistake. That movie didn't need a sequel. It's a standalone Elseworlds film. The main villain Batman has to fight in the movie. It's the Riddler. He's trying to figure out what the Riddler's up to, and it's actually a pretty interesting plot, I thought. I didn't like the Riddler's outfit. It looked like he was like a criminal longshoreman, but for the movie that they did, it's an interesting take on the characters. My main complaint would be Riddler's outfit. From inking past few days. Oh, dude. Well, yeah, it's in order to succeed, you got to put the work in. And seems like they're heavily hinting at Hush being in the sequel. That wouldn't surprise me. I think that'd be a mistake early on in his career, though. Great basis for multiple Joker movies. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was an interesting take that somebody came up with a while ago. I forget who it was. Maybe Alan Moore. That the reason Joker's insane and he kills people all the time in the comics is because he knows he's the only real person in the entire universe and everybody else doesn't matter because he's somehow got trapped in a comic book and he knows he's a comic book character. But it drove him insane. And when he kills people, he knows their lives don't matter because they're not real anyway. They're all fictional characters. As long as the Riddler is still supposed to bowler hat. Oh, nope. No bowler hat. Guy who played the Riddler was great, though. Scrawny and nerd who's obsessed. Yeah, I thought the actor did a great job. And it had some interesting things. Some of the riddles were just dead simple. But they work well for the movie because you're doing a movie for normies that aren't going to be able to figure out the riddle of the Sphinx here. So you got to kind of go with it. I'm hoping Kickstarter goes well. I feel better about AAC than Evil Cat. Yeah, dude. I wish you luck. I'd recommend everybody back it. I probably can't because I would give them my docs, but I will be glad to advertise it for you, man. So I liked the Batman movie. It didn't feel like 3 hours. Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz, I don't think she was good casting for it. I don't care that she's black. There's been a black Catwoman before. I just think she was not taking the movie as seriously as the director was. and she's not that good of an actress. I'm sorry. Is he a better Riddler than Jim Carrey? I'm guessing. Fuck yeah. Jim Carrey, I thought, would have been a better cast in this if he was younger, and if they had done Jim Carrey allowed to be Jim Carrey, because it needed a little bit of levity for the Riddler. Like, the Riddler is more obsessed than he is goofy, and it needed a little bit of goofiness, quite honestly. Yeah, Frosted, I would agree with that, but at the same time, he is still new in his career, and I don't think he was able to put the picture together quite well. I don't want to get into too many spoilers, because I think it's worth watching. Jim Carrey plays the same guy in every movie. It never changes. Largely, that's true, Evil One. Yeah. We didn't talk about Bruce Willis retiring from acting, but yeah, he's done. He apparently has a brain issue. So that's been talked about, that his acting has been very flat, and he's apparently needed cue cards a lot in a lot of the low budget movies, and apparently this is why, is because he's had some sort of mental problems. Oh, cool, Chris. Jim did 60s Riddler way over the top. If they'd done a lot more subdued, it would have been a lot better. Yeah, if you don't want to go any further than Frank Gorshin did. Frank Gorshin, I think, nailed it. That's why I maintain he's the best Riddler. It's cheesy but fun. Batman Forever, I didn't hate as much as Batman and Robin, which is fucking awful. So he can run for president. But that's really all I had today. I will recommend, if you have HBO Max, check out The Batman. It's coming out on the 18th, I believe it is. So, yeah, Monday it should be up there. That sucks being a famous millionaire, right? Unfortunately, this aphasia thing that he's got is really serious. That it's all like Memento levels of bad. Tommy Lee Jones better than Aaron Eckhart? Oh, no, I disagree with that. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be tomorrow. So if you get a chance, check it out. It is 3 hours. If you hate it, you hate it. But I thought it was pretty good. I think Matt Reeves had a really good vision that he probably had to fight tooth and nail to get. And his direction and the writing were the only reason that movie succeeded. It looked a lot like a lot of the actors in the movie just had no idea what was going on. Yeah, I liked Bruce Willis. I think he's a good actor. What movie? The Batman. The Batman's going to be out on the 18th on HBO Max. So, yeah, give that a check. And unfortunately, Bruce Willis is retiring from acting, so we're not going to get another of any of his movies. No more Hudson Hawk. No more Die Hard movies. No Moonlighting reunion. Nothing. Yeah, he was great in Sin City. Yeah, I like Bruce Willis a lot. I think he's a great actor, but he's one of those guys that was fun. Reeves is why I was pretty confident it'd be good. He did great with the Planet of the Apes trilogy. Yeah, absolutely. And he's definitely had a very good idea of what he wanted to do with the Batman, and hopefully, the success of this movie will get him another one. He's supposedly going to be doing a trilogy only if this one succeeds, and it's blown it out of the water from what anyone expected. So we'll see how it plays out. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for coming and watching the stream. It is greatly appreciated. Your donations are also massively appreciated. It is really, really nice of you guys to do that. So thank you so much. Also, be sure and check out the new videos I've got out. I released 2 in the last 4 hours. So check those out. And yeah, you guys have a great night. Hopefully you can do something exciting, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.